All right, guys. We're obviously back at it again with a new Andrew Tate update from Willie Mack. You know, frankly, you should probably watch his video over watching my reaction to his video. But hey, we're still gonna do it, baby. It's in the description though, if you would prefer it. So anyway, guys, let's get this party started.
We've been covering the Andrew Tate charges, showing he's been selling classes on trafficking, money laundering, and even admitting to manipulating a 16-year-old into working for his cam business when he was 26 years old. But yes, even with all that, it somehow gets worse. The Tates have done nothing.
I think she was 15 because he said like 16. I remember the last video. I just got this idea that was like, she's probably not even 16 at the time. She might have been 14 or 15. I forgot it specifically, but.
Lie and hide evidence saying that there are no charges or claims of abuse.
Are they accusing you of using violence?
They're accusing me of doing TikToks, Your Honor.
No, these are only some of the files and transcripts on the Tates. Does this look like no evidence? New evidence has emerged showing that the top members of the war room—
No, but it doesn't matter because even if there is evidence, it's all just it's a conspiracy. The Matrix, dude. It's all just a freaking Matrix, you dingus, you know?
Are also trafficking women, with another one of them being charged as well. It quite literally is a cult, and I'm not using that word lightly. Chat logs from the war room have leaked showing that he is still in the webcam business, explaining exactly how he manipulates women to fellow members, saying she's broke, can't go home, and can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil. They continue—
Yeah, I mean, like, he did that intentionally. Like, that was his MO. It seemed that he was getting these women from other countries mostly. Almost all of them never did sex work before. He would promise them that he would marry them and date them and love them and give them everything and blah, 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 all this other bullshit that he obviously wasn't going to adhere to. He got them separated from their friends and their family. This is a huge part of grooming, by the way. Separated from friends and family. And then when they were in their most vulnerable spot, would have his bottom bitch, was what he called her, work on them more to try to get them to do webcam work, right? And he would only give them enough money just for food, but he wouldn't give them any other money, and then he would shame them for not working, right? And then he would say, but I want you to work for me. That was another aspect of it too. But I want you to work with me, so we could be together. This way she would feel pressured into doing webcam sex work. He wouldn't let them leave unless he felt comfortable, that they were like, he was so in love with him that they would come back. I mean, he's admitted at this point. It's crazy. The amount of things he did was disgusting. It's just wild.
Continue to lie to their fans, saying that they're only being charged for things that happened in 2021.
We've been accused, like my brother said, of nothing prior to 2021 or 2022. So all of our old videos, old life had nothing to do with this.
When the court documents are citing incidents from 2016, 2017, 2018, all the way up until they were arrested in 2022. He had seemingly tried to buy off a Romanian senator, calling her from jail, saying, so make it clear to them. You will get lots of votes when Tate says you took their side. He has a former Romanian police
yes. Everybody loves Andrew Tater Tot. You'll get lots of votes, baby.
Inspector Luana beat the woman when they wouldn't work. Maybe you're not listening because I'm killing you if we don't make money. Hit yourself in the mouth until I arrive because I'll give you another 10. He's been charged with grave, physically assaulting the woman. The prosecution claims he would torture the girls by having his bottom beat them in their newly acquired breast implants by lifting her arm to break the operation, after which she stated that she's not stupid enough to hit her and leave traces. And yes, I will repeat this just like I have in my past 2 Tate videos, it somehow gets worse, as they allegedly have Twitter and Instagram employees in their cult, banning and botting people who criticize them. This is coming from a war room whistleblower.
We have
Well, yeah, of course they're going to do that. They want to reduce the amount of criticism that they're getting onto themselves.
Twitter employees, we have Instagram employees, TikTok employees. When we want to, we can delete an account. Whatever the perceived attack is on the Tate brand, that the marketing, the post, the tweet, the thread, whatever is purporting, we counter that with our Tate bots. We get big accounts to slander the person that's making that thread.
This is a real rabbit hole. So
Jesus Christ, they had people to slander them too? That's fucking wild. Okay, I mean, I'm not surprised, but like, I guess I am at the same time, you know?
Is not the man he says he is. He can't even groom himself. Unlike me, a real man who uses Manscaped. Manscaped is the global men's lifestyle brand that's disrupting the grooming market. You know they take it seriously just by how beautifully this thing's packaged. This is the Performance Package 4.0, a game changer when it comes to creating the ultimate men's grooming and hygiene bundle. First, we got the Lawnmower 4.0, their 4th generation electric trimmer.
I could use a lawnmower. My wife wants me to trim my beard too. She wants me to do it back to like last year when I got rid of a significant portion of it. So I'm wondering, I might consider doing that.
Featuring a cutting-edge ceramic blade designed to reduce grooming accidents. It has a 4K LED spotlight.
Well, Andrew Tate needs that.
For when you need a more precise shave. Although your balls may look like a punching bag, you don't have to treat them like one. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the new Weed Whacker 2.0, nose and ear hair trimmer, using a 7,000 RPM motor and improved steel blades. Which is good, because I'm Italian. But my favorite 2 products that I didn't know I needed are the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop...
I liked him until he told me that. I'm just kidding.
Reviver Bowl Tone Spray. Just apply the deodorant after a shower, spritz on the Crop Reviver whenever you need a refresher, and boom, it's
Whoa,
like a freshly
that's pretty
waxed
big.
car. Manscaped will even throw in 2 free gifts, being the anti-chafing boxers and the Shed travel bag. So don't just leave them hanging. Take care of your fellas. Go to manscaped.com and use promo code Willie to get 20% off plus free international shipping.
I use a trimmer, like a razor on my balls, and sometimes I nick them. You know, they start bleeding, and I just get soaps. It's just terrible. Or it's
Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. I have now made 2 videos on Andrew Tate going over the charges and the many videos he's posted incriminating himself.
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me. So I can get what
that doesn't sound predatory at all, guys.
Actually,
that's just so cool. He's such a cool guy for getting women to, like, what I don't understand how you hear everything and go like, nah, this guy's not a fucking predator. Like, how?
Want, which is not them.
Code Willie.
It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do.
Well, he's continued to incriminate himself in his War Room group chat where he teaches other people how to traffic women as well, leading to at least one other member being arrested and charged. So what is the War Room? It's Andrew Tate's cult of what he claims to be the most powerful non-governmental body in the world. He describes as the Illuminati, but cooler.
War Room is kind of like the Illuminati, but cooler.
How powerful is the network?
I'm alive.
Are we allowed to talk about anybody else who's in there?
I will never tell you about any of the members, but let's put it this way: I'm still alive, right? So, and there's been serious attempts on my life. The War Room is the most powerful network on the face of the planet today, bar governments.
Are you trying to keep
nation
up?
state? The War Room is bar a nation state wanting you dead. The War Room is the #1 enemy you wouldn't want you coming after you because they will get you. We are that good.
Now, I used to think he was just being hyperbolic here, but it's not just a meme. It's dangerous, especially if you're a woman they target. Now, if you're a new member of the War Room, it's just another way for them to siphon $5,000, $7,000 out of you.
The War Room now, it's like when you join it, you're going to be paying the $5,000, but you're not just going to be paying for that. They say that's only your admission ticket. You're only paying to get access to these people. You're not paying to be respected and all that stuff. What you're supposed to be doing is pay for more stuff. As soon as you join, they're asking you, it's like, you got to pay now for the 5 fundamental courses, which I think is like $3,000 with a discount or whatever. So
it's fucking crazy. That's just wild, bro. That he gets people to pay him to just take advantage of them. You must be a real fucking moron if you would pay for this War Room shit.
$5,000 USD plus $3,000 discounts.
$8,000 just to get started, and they will continue to gouge you for thousands more. But if you actually stick around long enough and make the money, that's when you'll be allowed in the more advanced courses.
Guys, I can't succeed in life. I'm poor. I have no money. What should I do? Oh, give me $8,000 that you really don't have, and I will help you make your life better. Oh, thank you so much, Andrew Tate. This helped. Okay. Like, what the fuck? That makes absolutely no sense. You're unironically better off going to like college, even though college is like expensive. It's not really that bad as long as you go for something that like you should has like a good outcome, or trade school. What should I do? Go be a welder, guys. If you want to, I mean, if it costs that much, you're better off spending $8,000 to learn to weld, or do HVAC or something, than spend it to just get ripped off.
In one of the War Room group chats, Andrew Tate is giving step-by-step instructions on how to manipulate girls using his own as examples. And one of the
he's probably like jerking off to it. So he's like, "Oh, I'm such a cool guy for like abusing and manipulating women. I'm such an awesome dude." Oh.
Messages, he explains how he would isolate girls from their family by lying. He writes, update on the 2 girls living together. The girl that moved lost her support network at home, cemented her move, talking about staying forever, can't wait for me to come back, etc. So I had to tighten the screw. So I said somebody from her hometown told me that she worked in a sex club. I literally totally made this up from the sky. He then shows the text accusing her at 10:40 and then ghosting her for 20 minutes as she panics. He says, started calling her a liar and threatening to kick her out, but the real goal here is for her to agree to never go anywhere without me, not even her hometown. He then shows his messages with her. You are never going back to Timisoara without me, understand? And she replies, yes, I understand. He then posts more time.
Yeah, it's so interesting because again, like one of the things that he would do is he would have his bottom bitch work on these girls for a reason, because then if they got upset with the situation they were in, they wouldn't blame him. That was like that was part of it as well. Like it was really methodical. Like he is very good at manipulating, abusing, and raping really women. I mean, he's excellent at being the worst, biggest piece of shit in the entire world. And I always love the response of like, yeah, but I went to the gym because of Andrew Tate. It's like you could go to the gym because of other guys too. Like there could be other people you look up to. Like maybe, I don't know, a weight, like look at a gym guy. Dan Green is a great power lifter. Look into that guy. Fucking Andrew Tate, you don't need that.
Text messages showing how he's broken this girl down, all through lying, I might add. Andrew, please tell me that this is a joke, because I really don't want to believe that you mean what you're saying. I'm freaking crying alone in a room, and you think I'm not serious? Where am I now, Andrew? Here? Why? Because I am serious. I've left everything and everyone behind. For who? For you. Andrew then writes in the War Room, I need her working, not visiting friends in her hometown. So I'm putting nails in that coffin, saying my people are talking bad about her. So Andrew Tate is admitting and teaching how he gets a girl to fall in love with him, systematically tears her apart from her family and friends, all for the purpose of bringing her to Romania so she works works on webcam.
Cali muscle? I don't know, bro. Cali muscle? Fake weights, I think. You know what I'm saying? Fake weights, baby. Fuck them. Kai Green, I think I like Kai Green. He's pretty good. I think he's better to look up to, bro. He's cooler. He's a cooler guy. Jason Genova. Look at the Jason Genova, baby. He'll be a fucking legend.
That is textbook human trafficking according to Romanian law. And if the girls didn't work or didn't pull
I
enough money after
I don't think it's basic. It's not really, though. That's not so bad. Like, that's the response from the fucking morons in the manosphere.
They moved in, the Tates grabbed Georgiana and Luana, their assistants, beat them. They're being charged as well. These are transcripts from Tate, the Romanian FBI, showing them threaten a girl, saying, maybe you're not listening because I'm killing you if we don't make money. Punch yourself in the mouth until I arrive because I'll give you another 10. Andrew Tate would encourage his victims to get breast implants, and if they didn't reach their numbers, he'd make Georgiana pull at the stitches. The prosecution writes, there's no
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't know that. That's horrible, dude. Oh, that's what he was referring to before, where he's like, oh, do something that won't necessarily arouse suspicion. So if you pull out the stitches, they can't blame you for being abusive. Wow, that's fucked up. So he would force them basically in these situations because he had enough control to force them to get breast implants, with a big part of it just so that he can abuse the women and rip their stitches out. Gee, what a scumbag. Holy fuck.
no medical documents of the physical violence because the defendants acted cunningly without leaving traces. For example, from one of the victim's statements, it appears Georgiana, to avoid leaving traces of violence on the body of one of the girls who recently undergone breast implants, would lift her arms to break the operation, after which stated she's not stupid enough to leave traces. To anyone who's still skeptical about the human trafficking charges, I beg to ask,
Christ.
what else would you call this? You'd manipulate the girls into falling in love with him with promises of marriage.
Up. So that's what that is, like lifting the arms up, I guess, because you're obviously probably not supposed to do that because it breaks stitches, I guess. Dude, that's horrible. That's horrific. I didn't even know that. Jesus Lord.
I want to know if you're committed, serious about marriage. He'd then divide them from their family and friends through lies. I said somebody in her old town told me she worked in a sex club. I totally made this up. I need her working, not visiting friends from her old town. And then when they got nothing left, they move in with him where he traps them inside the house.
So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere. You're not, no restaurants, no clubs, nothing.
Where they would be beaten, tortured by Georgiana and Luana. And he knows what he's doing is wrong. He proudly states in the war room. Another element, since she's moved in, she's been fed, but nothing else. She's broke, can't go home, and she can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil. And the worst part is, other members of the chat love it, posting themselves doing the same thing, bragging about how—
Why did it take these guys so long to come forward? This is horribly abusive. I mean, I guess you just spent $8,000. So you're feeling like you got to get that money's worth. I don't know. It's fucking crazy, though. Jesus Lord. Who came for? I guess it took a while.
How much money they're making from OnlyFans. Fake convo with G.
You know what's funny, though? It's almost funny, is that, like, Andrew Tate, like, this whole war room thing is also another scam, right? Like, we already know that. Like, there's nothing of actual value in the war room bullshit. He knows that. He's trying to manipulate people. That's why he's trying to manipulate people. That's why he says things like, if you quit my war room, like, that's why you failed. Like, it's just language that it's meant to keep you there as long as possible, engaging in, like, your Hustlers University for as long as possible, to try to siphon money out of you. That's, like, the whole point, right? And so if he didn't scam those people, though, he actually gave them something that would be worthwhile, he probably, they would be less likely to come forward and out him for being a horrible, abusive, predator piece of shit. It's a good thing they did. They did come forward, but that would have been less likely, you know?
Pretending I love her. G speak in sense. Posting targets of what woman they plan to get next. This is the next target. We'll start the groundwork tonight and keep you all updated. She passed the PhD test. Ready for another masterclass. People are paying over 10K and putting in hours of work a day to learn how to traffic women. It's insane. And yet, it somehow gets worse. Because it's the tip top of the war room where the real crime is happening. I want to introduce you to Vlad Obu, aka Joe Lampton. He's good friends with the Tates and essentially the Romanian version of Andrew. He's seen driving fancy cars and having nice watches. He even runs and sells a course in the war room modeled—
I don't get, like, watches. I get cars. I don't get watches. It tells the fucking time. You have a phone. I don't really understand. It's just jewelry for men. It's just, I don't get it.
After Andrew Tate's webcam business. He has been arrested as well, partly because he beat one of his girlfriends because she wouldn't get a third tattoo of his face on her. There were many witnesses. I wonder who else makes their girls get tattoos of themselves on them. I can't quite put a finger on it.
Me and my wife. No, abusive people, forcing people to do stuff like that.
And guess what?
That's supposed to be like permanent ownership. That's how they, and even if it's like a married couple, that's what it is too, permanent ownership. It's like if my wife, like, I might get a tattoo of my wife's name on me somewhere. That's her ownership of me, but that's like the point, right? Because we're married, it's mutual. Theirs is just to be a one-way ownership situation.
He's also been charged with human trafficking. Tate prosecutors say the alleged victims were trained by beating or psychological terror until the leader of the group considered that they had become as obedient as dogs. According to Tate investigators, Vlad Obu would have used his public image to seduce several girls through the so-called lover boy method, most of whom were without financial means. Once caught in the net of Obu, the girls ended up in video chat studios opened in Bucharest, Ilfov County. The same county Andrew and Tristan were found trafficking women. Tate even seemed to refer to the same organized crime group that Andrew and Tristan Tate have been charged with creating. Tate has reported that 31 people have been picked up and investigated in this operation. It is so much bigger than people realize. I want to bring you back to a line from Andrew Tate.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how you could be such a piece of shit. And like, you know, I get being a little bit of a piece of shit, right? But so much, like, how do you have no humanity inside of you to be able to engage in this kind of stuff? I don't get it. It's fucking insane to me. Obviously, it's disgusting. I don't get it.
Tate, because it's about to get real different in a moment.
Bar a nation state wanting you dead, the war room is the number one enemy you wouldn't want you coming after you, because they will get you. We are that good.
A big reason why Andrew Tate is so screwed right now is because Tate's been monitoring his phone calls without him knowing. Well, Andrew Tate must not be that smart because for some reason he thought his phone calls in jail wouldn't also be monitored without realizing that
There's no way. Did he really not? Did he really? There's no way that he's that dumb. The only thing I could imagine is that if he paid the guards off, or thought he paid the guards off, so they're like, okay, yeah, we won't monitor your phone calls, Andrew, or something. What a moron. Holy fuck.
Tate prosecutors could monitor these dialogues. Andrew Tate got in touch with a trusted woman who was supposed to contact George Simmons, who's a member of the Assembly of Deputies in Romania, and a Romanian senator, Diana Sosaka, to convey to them that if they stood up for them in the public space and the Tates are let out, they will be rewarded. Keep in mind that this has been translated from English to Romanian and then back to English, so some things might read a little weird. Tate says, also, Anna, there's a guy called George Simmons. He's a protester or something. He's on Facebook and is always posting about stuff. She says, oh yes, I know. He says, talk to him and anyone else like him who doesn't like the corruption in Romania, and understand that if he helps us, he will be rewarded. Talk to him and—
Hey, talk to this guy who doesn't like corruption in Romania and tell him if that will give him things if he acts corrupt. Like, well, I don't like, why would that, if they really truly didn't like corruption, why would it be a selling point for them to work with Andrew Tate? I don't understand. It doesn't even make sense. Wow, that's just a desperate angle. Or partly he's just fucking dumb as shit, too. I mean, that's definitely a part of it. It has to be. Right? But, Jesus, what a moron. Oh, my God.
Tell him this case is shit. They're Americans. They're making Romania look bad. Tate is corrupt. She says also Senator Sosaka—
He went to fucking Romania so that it would be corrupt. He wanted to engage in corruption. How is, like, even if this guy thought that he could work with Andrew Tate to fight corruption in Romania, I feel like just on a fundamental principle level, you'd be like, not going to work with this guy because he came here to make us look bad. Like, Andrew Tate, if you are against corruption in Romania, you would be against Andrew Tate because he bragged about it to like millions of people about how he went there to engage in corruption. Like, he embarrassed that country, you know? And maybe so it's just fucking crazy. How the fuck does that even work? Jesus.
She's also a lawyer, and she fought against the COVID restrictions. You remember her now?
Oh, no.
And Andrew replies, yes, both. He then says, put them
just
in—
because you're against COVID restrictions doesn't make you a fucking, like, okay with sex trafficking. What a bar to set. But I feel like that's how he thinks. He thinks like, oh, well, we were against COVID too. They just think it's a conspiracy. There's a difference between being against COVID restrictions, by the way, and not thinking that it's bad. Like, you know, some people just thought it went too far, right? But he just thinks like that must mean that they're on our side because we had an agreement in one policy. That's like single issue voter bullshit right there. Like, just dumb shit.
And tell him that Tate is corrupt, and that is very bad for Romania. It's very bad for the image. These guys are innocent.
If Andrew Tate got 10 years of prison and came out, genuinely learned a lesson, I'm curious if society would let it go. He just wouldn't. He wouldn't genuinely learn. But nobody would believe that he did because what he's doing is horrible and heinous. So people would just be like, I don't think that he can learn a lesson. That's what it is. Like, how do you change that? You know, this isn't like kind of like, oh man, I was ignorant on a particular thing. This is like active predatory behavior. How do you change that?
Look here, they're the victims. If you side with the boys, when the boys get let out, they'll make sure you're rewarded for telling the truth.
The boys!
In another wiretap to his cousin Luke, he says, make it clear to them, you're going to get a lot of votes when Tate says you were on his side. How insane is that? He felt comfortable openly saying that he was going to bribe Romanian politicians from a jail cell. Not only that, but a whistleblower has come forward claiming that they had—
on the foundation of anti-corruption, no less. That was a part of it too. Yeah, this guy was really trying to fight against corruption. What if we get him on our side? Yeah, that's so good. It's just fucking ridiculous.
and Instagram employees in the war room working for them. The interview was done by the news movement, and the whistleblower is the person who helped create and run CobraTate.com, as well as Andrew Tate's Twitter. He's proven that he was part of the war room by leaking messages.
We have many Twitter employees, we have Instagram employees, TikTok employees. When we want to, we can delete an account. For small accounts, we can just
Jesus Christ.
and that's it. And
oh, I didn't even think of it. I thought that they were saying that they had employees that ran their own Twitters, TikToks, and Instagrams to run harassment campaigns. What they're saying is they have people inside of these businesses that can ban people. That's fucking wild. Oh my God. They're creating their own matrix.
Really cares. But for bigger accounts, we use a thing called PR marketing campaigns and narrative control, meaning that we have big accounts that side with us. We have many smaller, real-looking, human-like accounts. Whatever the perceived attack is on the Tate brand, that the marketing, the post, the tweet, the thread, whatever is purporting, we counter that with our Tate bots. We get big accounts to slander the person that's making that thread or that tweet or that post.
When you look at grab crawlers,
Jesus Christ, that's insane. Wait, so are you telling me that on like videos that I disagreed with Andrew Tate on, like on TikTok, that got like hundreds of thousands of views, that a ton of the people weren't even real? They were just like actual fucking bot accounts? That's insane. What the fuck? That's wild.
Who was the #1 independent journalist reporting on Andrew Tate with documentation going back years. His Twitter was banned and is still banned for seemingly no reason. Very convenient. In another instance, Tate sent people from the war room to go intimidate a journalist at his house. Tate writes, "And don't mention my name on Twitter ever again, and it's done. Or sign the contract, or it's just begun. Choice is yours." The guy says, "Fair."
Rhymed.
Tate replies, "Waiting." Done. Tate then says, "I won't dox any more details. We leave it here." Tate has done this to multiple people, even bragging about it in an interview in 2022.
I'm that guy. And the guy, and he, as soon as he could feel it, and he felt it because people turned up at his door. Once I had his address, I started putting, I didn't want to get banned from Twitter. Obviously, it happened in the end anyway.
Yeah.
But at first, I put his street name, then I put his house number. And then when guys turned up at his house, I had to fly some friends of mine from Vegas to LA. Like, I had to spend money on this shit. This took time out of my life. When he looked out the window and saw the SUV, then he starts apologizing on the internet. Like, oh, bitch. Welcome to the real world. Worlds have consequences. And it wasn't even hard for me to do.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck? This is insane. The dude was doxing people and showing like a violent. This is wild. This goes so fucking deep.
Richard, all I did was I sent some messages to a few private groups I'm in and said, look, cash prize, this guy needs to pay.
All I did is I just sent some. I just sent a message in a couple of groups saying I'll give you $50,000 to go to kill a guy. Like, what the fuck? This is insane.
Groups being the war room. It's like a bald version of 4chan. So I ask again, what is the war room? It's a $10,000 course where experts on trafficking and abuse come together and teach others how to traffic and abuse women. Only payable through crypto, by the way.
And then he says crypto is the only available payment option.
They trick the woman to leave their family and friends behind, leave them broke, make them tattoo their names on her. If they refuse, beat them, ban accounts trying to document the situation by paying Twitter staff in the war room to do it.
We have many Twitter employees, we have Instagram employees, TikTok employees. When we want to, we can delete an account.
If that doesn't work, dox the journalist. Have members show up to their house intimidating them.
But at first I put his street name, then I put his house number. And then when guys turned up at his house, I had to fly some friends of mine from Vegas to LA. Like, I had to spend money on this shit.
When they finally get caught and are in prison waiting for trial.
I like how he feels like he's the victim even in that situation, because I had to spend money on trying to threaten someone's life. Like, oh, I'm such a victim.
They try and call and bribe politicians. This group is actually kind of scary. They're clowns. I want to point and laugh at them, but they're like evil trafficking clowns.
Everyone's afraid of us. And if anyone did piss us off at any point, even if we didn't want to fuck them up ourselves, we can make one phone call and they'd either be in a ditch or lose their any right to stay here. They'd have some visa issue and get kicked out the country, or arrested for no reason and put in a jail cell for months at a time.
Ironic.
Incredible.
We are basically as mafia as you can get.
I actually can't tell how much he's joking here anymore.
Pretty cool.
Your fucking mouth, you're just really fucking dense. If you hate me while you talking, you don't make no fucking sense.
Probably the most infuriating thing when it comes to the Tates is dealing with the insane amount of misinformation they put out. Tristan writes, a lot of Twitter detectives trying to solve my case. Think out of context video clips are proof of crime beyond all reasonable doubt? I sit here reading actual charges, and it's a false accuser whose story has been disproven already, and the allegations of stolen TikTok money. This is a lie. Now, I've debunked this before, but I'm going to do it again because he keeps saying it. The prosecution is not accusing them of stealing TikTok money. If you read the court documents, it clearly states that Andrew and Tristan would traffic women and have Georgiana and Luana force the girls into making graphic content using the website OnlyFans. They then force them to...
I think that there was an aspect of TikTok, probably as like a promotional platform to get people to go to their OnlyFans, right? Like, I mean, that makes plenty of sense. That's like part of the thing.
Create a TikTok to help promote the OnlyFans. In him claiming that the girl's story has already been disproven, it just isn't true. He's lying again. When Andrew and Tristan Tate were in jail, messages were released by Dicot showing the two girls trying to escape his house earlier that year. We know this because he called them using the prison phone. There's transcripts. Yes, put them everywhere and say this girl says she's kidnapped when she is not kidnapped. Luke then asks, you're saying you want me to discredit them and have social media pull hard? And Tate responds, yes, screw them. Luke in the war room then posted a single TikTok of the girls dancing as if that proved anything. It only fooled Sneeko.
They're in the house all the time. This is them. This is like women who are being held against.
Of course it would fool Sneeko because he's a fucking moron. He's such a... Dude, Sneeko is such an embarrassing, dumb little baby. Like, he really is. All he is a collection of everybody else around him. Like, he has no independent thought, feeling, perspective. He parrots the person he thinks is the coolest. Sneeko, quite literally, if he wasn't into the manosphere, he would be the biggest fucking smelliest anime nerd in the entire world. This dude, if he like, all it would have taken is for his fixation to be a fucking anime, and he would be walking around as a fucking Bleach character at school. He's the furry at school. Like, there's nothing else. He's just a cosplayer. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. So, yeah.
Their will.
Sneeko, the girls were forced to make TikToks. That's part of the trafficking. And because of Andrew Tate's bots, this news went wild. People still believe this argument. The Tate's war room would then take one snippet out of all of these released messages from Dicot and frame it as if the girls were making it all up to get a Netflix deal, when that's not what the messages are saying at all. So no, nothing in this statement is true. Nothing's been disproven. They're literally running a smear campaign, and it's only working because the court documents, as well as the articles exposing it, are in Romanian. The BBC is more focused on him being a misogynist than a human trafficker.
Financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
What are we doing? The Tate's new tactic is to take their own content out of context and then frame it as if they were saying that they love and respect women the whole time. They add this sad music.
They think that you can do it through fear, that you can scare girls.
Oh my god, what's fucking crazy is my wife's like a friend of hers or guy she used to have a crush on retweeted like or fuck an Instagram story of an Andrew Tate video, and I was just like, wow, like what a loser. How fucking embarrassing for you. Like, that's an embarrassing for you to like Andrew Tate. You're just a pathetic fucking loser. It's crazy.
Intimidate girls. If you're gonna scare a girl and put her on the street, she's just gonna walk off and leave, never see her again. She has to respect you and love you and want to work with you.
Wow, nice music they put in there.
Pimp, positively inspirational, motivating person.
Yeah, yeah. I still to this day I talk about pimps are losers. They're fucking abusive people always. And people are like, no. Some of them treat their women well. No, stop. Just shut up. You are a baby. You're a baby. If you think that there's no pimp that treats their prostitutes well, you are an entitled kid that never grew up without a struggle. I don't know what to tell you. Like you're just wrong. I don't even know what to say. It's fucking crazy. That stuff just blows my mind.
Positive energy. There's no negative energy in this business.
He's teaching you the lover boy method of trafficking.
And he specifically said that he treats these women in a way that other webcam services don't. Like they're prostitutes. Like, that's not appropriate. Like, I don't understand. It's crazy that we're having conversations about how being a pimp, an abusive pimp, is bad. Like, I thought we knew this already, but like we didn't. It's fucking wild. It's just fucking wild.
That's what this video is about. I've already made a whole video breaking this down. It's not a video about teamwork or respecting women just because he adds some sad music. In that same video, he literally teaches you how to lie and scam them out of money.
Tax is also another important element of controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody.
Oh, but not paying taxes is base, bro.
Anybody. But you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy.
Whoa.
Girls are stupid. And girls don't understand how taxes work. So the girl's working with
Funny
you.
meme.
And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we made this much money, but I'm going to pay the
It is true. Women don't seem to know how taxes work, but that doesn't mean that you should abuse them. But okay.
tax to make sure we don't get in trouble.
Guys, it's okay to abuse women because they don't understand taxes. It's incredible stuff.
She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element. If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It's a control element. Secondly, it allows you to pay her a smaller percentage.
Does this sound like the love and respect he talked about in his Twitter video?
I mean, he literally says it's explicitly to control people. Like, that's like I don't know what other information people need for this. It's fucking crazy.
To the full video, but 2 days after I posted mine, it was mysteriously taken down. And as Sneeko says,
I've always said this on my stream.
That's true. The fact that I think that he's guilty, despite the fact that he said he was innocent, is proof enough that I'm a fucking moron. You're right, brother. You're right when you're right.
If they hide it, then it's the truth. If they have to delete it, then it's the truth.
They then posted a Twitter video that ends with Andrew saying, "We would never keep you against your will," and then linking to freetopg.com.
If at any point you want to leave, you decided you've had enough and you want to go or you want to leave, it's no problem. You can come to us and just say, these guys, I want to go. You can have a water taxi here in 20 minutes, take you to the water taxi, take you to the airport, anytime you want. So you're not trapped, you're not enclosed, you're very free to leave anytime you like.
Well, it's weird that you have to say that.
Emergency, you don't want to be here anymore, you gotta go tomorrow, just let Georgiana know your flight's will be booked, it's all good.
Wow.
So you're not trapped. not enclosed.
Totally normal thing to say. The website is
That's what I'm saying.
Andrew writes to you over and over again that he's innocent. No case files, no facts.
Oh, shit.
It's beautifully ironic that the Tates will sit there and cry about things being taken out of context when they're the ones taking everything out of context. Remember what we said about short form content out of long form
Yeah, it's always their own fans that will post things out of context. And then they're like, it's out of context.
videos and ignoring all context? That's all you, bro. You're the one saying how it's about TikTok money when it's not.
Here is the official story.
That's true. It's not just women that don't understand taxes. It's men too. We don't like teach people how to do taxes. I had to learn myself how to do like taxes for fucking. So when I started doing this job because I have to pay quarterlies. You got a good point there.
In 2021, 2 years ago, my brother and I formed an organized criminal gang with the intent of moving women to Romania so we could steal money from their TikTok accounts.
When Dicot released the messages of the two girls who were trapped and escaped the Tates, Andrew, Tristan, and the War Room were the ones that took a small snippet of the messages out of context and posted them everywhere. For Christ's sake, they took their own video down and then took it out of context to try and make themselves look better. Here's some other annoying lies they've spread that I just have to point out.
That's
Are they
crazy.
accusing you of using violence or?
No.
They are. It's in the indictment. They're accusing them of rape and physical violence.
The text says it quite plainly.
The Tates also like to claim that the victims are on their side. Of the 7 alleged victims, many of which are totally on our side.
And it's very interesting because the girls who they've identified to add to the file are saying that we're not victims of anything, and this isn't true.
The 2 girls that are on their side are Georgiana and Luana, who are also being charged. Again, taking things out of context.
Yeah, doesn't he have 2 bottom bitches? One was the child that he raped as a child, like, you know, statutory rape at like 15 or 14 or 16 or something. And the other one was like the police officer that helps them like abuse women, right? Isn't that who they are? I think that is who they are.
Well, the fact that you're not accused of a sex crime or violence.
Can I say it? Tucker's a retard and should stay far away from the state.
Sorry. Listen, I'm not a fan of that word, but I think it's fair to call Tucker that word. Yeah, I mean, dude, like how it's I find it interesting that people think Tucker is credible after that. Like, he's ruined all of his credibility. Like, he just decided to let Andrew Tate lie about him being an abusive, sex trafficking racist. A rapist, sorry, not a racist. I mean, which is worse, am I right? I think it's better to be a racist, in my opinion, in this situation. But just a regular one that's just like, I'm uncomfortable around this person. Not somebody who kills people, of course. That would be horrible, horrific. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. What does this do? I don't care.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, the fact that you're not accused of a sex crime
the fact that
or
you're not
violence,
accused.
which I think most people don't really understand.
Yep.
And they can look it up.
Tucker, you need to look it up.
This guy's an idiot.
Yeah. It's all intentional too, because Tucker's actually smart. It's intentional. He's playing a game. He's trying to just be, he's just trying to be like a contrarian at that point. So.
I think Andrew and Tristan Tate are going out in a bit of a pathetic way. They now go on all these podcasts and interviews sniveling, acting all confused. It's so
Yep,
big.
and I think I didn't watch the Candace Owens ones, but I guarantee you that Candace Owens also like allowed him to just excuse his predatory behavior, and she didn't give any pushback because they make money doing it. They're fine with it. They don't want to push back at all. They're pussies.
When less than a year ago, they were proud, bragging about what they've done.
They said, no, but you're a human trafficker by the lover boy method. I said, what's that? It's where you pretend to love them. So what, being nice? So I was nice to some girls 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's pretty nice when you abuse them. Yeah.
Is that my crime? Maybe I did love them. Well, we're not together anymore, so what? I pretended? Who said I pretended? Prove I pretended to love. And then what did I...
I think he thinks this is an actual argument against the lover boy method. Like, I think that's the problem.
Pretend to love them to achieve. I was all about trying to get paid. Like, I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. The case against me is that I pretended to love girls to make them do TikTok.
No, it's okay to pretend to love girls to manipulate them in general. Like, it's not okay, but that's just called being a fuckboy. You abused them and put them into scenarios where they would go far beyond what they would normally do if they had their own full agency. Like, there's a difference between being a fuckboy and getting some pussy versus getting women into a situation where you completely disconnect them from all of their other support structures, beat them, abuse them, have a bottom bitch to work on them, all this horrible stuff. I mean, it's just very different, in my opinion.
I get called a pimp a lot, and the reason I use the term is because I don't see it as a negative term. If you would have taken that deal and taken that money, you would have been happy for a week. But 2 months in, when you hear the story of some poor guy who lost his house from gambling, you feel like a piece of shit. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. So and it's basic shit, right? You have a guy.
Feel bad or no?
Fuck no. Give a solitary fuck.
Did you tell like
I don't give a fuck. And
Who are those losers that think that that's so appropriate? None of them give any pushback. I would have been like, that's disgusting. Like, you're a loser for that.
so would I if I did this stuff. I have a conscience. That's the whole thing about this. They have to attack our morality on a level.
Bro, where does Willie Mack get all this information from? This is fucking crazy. This guy's nuts. This guy's crazy.
And destroy our, to the point where we don't have a conscience. You have to have no conscience to sell your sanity. You have to be a bad person.
I know you don't feel bad at all.
Why the fuck would I
Yeah,
care?
I don't feel bad either.
So, thank you.
Why?
So I never sold out. And if I had, I don't think any of this would happen. I think this is punishment for not selling my soul.
I f them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do.
You're not a victim. Look how willingly he's able to cry, lie, manipulate to try and garner sympathy. It's pathetic. Tristan is out here bragging about making his kids' lives worse.
Have the kid. She knows Tristan Tate doesn't take shit. And I had to, and this is actually good. I wouldn't, I guess, admit this on a live, but I had to downgrade one of the mothers of my kids from the house she was living in. I needed her to understand that you do not fuck with me. And she was living in a 4-bedroom rented house, and I was paying the rent and all the bills, and I pay everything. I said, okay, you know what? You want to fuck with me in that way? That's cool. You have 30 days to get out of that house. Here's your new apartment, 2 bedrooms. Well, what do you mean? Now your child doesn't have a garden to play in.
It's just like a weird, what the fuck?
Well, that's your fault. That is not my fault. Take her to the fucking park. I don't take shit. So it's never going to get to that level where they think, oh, well, let me call the U.S. Embassy. And because he's a citizen, maybe I can, because they know the consequence. It's not going to turn out good for them or me or anybody.
So basically what he's saying is, hey, if anybody tried to criticize me, I would try to ruin their life. I would just, okay, great.
This is now my 3rd video on the Tate Files, and I expect more information to keep coming out as the trial draws near. And yes, I
Yeah, he's Magic Mac.
expect it to only get worse. So subscribe. I personally liked it better when they were just accused of running a pyramid scheme, but hey, changes fast. I also
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's so interesting. This fucking shit really spun out of control here.
I want to take the time to thank the people that have helped me make this video. I couldn't have done it without them. Stephen Larson has documented a lot of the contradictions in the Tate interviews. Murdered by Crayons is another account that's already been taken down by Tate once and has stayed on top of all the legal side of things, as well as Avalon and Thoughts and Prayers. I also want to thank the news movement who had the exclusive interview with the War Room whistleblower. These guys have helped me archive, translate, and organize so much information, so thank you. And shout out to the homies over on Patreon: Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Zombie Fox, Riveter, Christina Vina, Detective Pika, Mac,
We always wait for my name to come up.
Monkey, Bo Blacks, Necro Valley, Stefan Bildman, Abby Blackbird, The Confusing Opinion, Matt Swanson, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, and the mega homies: Reynolds Hughes, Hellison, IGP, Jason Johnson, Your Taxi, Latchkey Goth Boy, Cyber Katie, Lore Reloaded, Papa Gut,
Exactly. Papa Gut. What's up, bitch?
Friday 13, Eddie Chris, It's Salty, Kaden Lulin, Luis M. Gonzalez,
All right, cool.
XO Irish XO, PA Subway, and TV Anthology Reviews. Lately, we
Yeah, good video. Can't say many, not much more to say, rather than it's a good video.